Not every YouTuber is who they claim to be. You think you know your favorite YouTubers until they end up in handcuffs. From scams to serious felonies, these are some of the creators that went from viral to criminal. Ruby Frank. Ruby Frank is an American former family vlogger and convicted child abuser who ran the now defunct YouTube channel 8 Passengers. On August 30th, 2023, Frank and Jody Hildebrandt were arrested in Washington County, Utah, and charged with 6 counts of felony aggravated child abuse of 2 of Ruby's children. In early 2015, Frank created a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers, in which she documented her family life in Utah with her husband Kevin and their 6 children. Basically, almost like a John and Kate plus 8 kind of thing, if you guys are old enough to remember that TV show where they had the 8 kids. You know, I mean, I can't believe I'm explaining a family vlogger, but yeah, they were really popular for the time when they started, and they blew up pretty quickly within a couple years. She originally posted 5 days a week at 6 a.m. every time. As of June 2020, the channel had around 2.5 million subscribers and amassed over 1 billion views. So like I said, they blew up. Beginning in 2020, when one of Frank's children, a 15-year-old boy, said that he had been banned from his bedroom and made to sleep on a beanbag for 7 months, viewers became concerned about his mother's disciplinary methods.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October.
Do you think it's funny? Because
And then I walk out.
if you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
To the point where people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? You've been sleeping on a beanbag for 7 months? Like, this bitch is crazy. On another occasion, her youngest daughter was sent to school without a packed lunch. Basically, they didn't have lunch cards because Ruby believed that her 6-year-old daughter was old enough to prepare and be responsible for her own lunch. Now, when the school contacted her with concerns over this, she actually refused outright to bring a lunch for her kid.
The outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch, because then she's not going to learn from the natural outcome.
A 6-year-old. You know what I mean? Most days I skip lunch and breakfast, bro. At the end of the day, I'm not even responsible enough for that. You expecting a 6-year-old? Like, I don't know. I feel like your expectations way too high up there. These are your kids, bro. Like, shouldn't you have been responsible for making her responsible at that point? Like, I don't know. I feel like you're just skipping your step in that. Some of the severe punishments Frank imposed on her children included sending one of her kids to a wilderness camp for troubled teens, threatening to behead a stuffed toy,
I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
and telling 2 of her children that Santa Claus would not be bringing them anything for Christmas that year because they were too numb to respond to any other punishments.
This year, they are not going to be visited by Santa. Christmas morning, their 4 older siblings will be getting Christmas presents to open, and that they will have the gift of love from their dad and I. So, they've had these visceral experiences, and they haven't affected them. It's because they're so numb.
So at this point, she had basically been abusing them so much that they just didn't even give a fuck about any of the punishments. To be for real, some of these punishments that I just listed don't sound that bad at the end of the day. I mean, the troubled teens one is probably the worst. Beheading a stuffed animal, I mean, if this is like for your 3-year-old, maybe for your 6-year-old daughter, I could see that like kind of fucking with her. At the end of the day, we're going to get into the more serious stuff at the end of the day. Like that is just like, I don't know why they even put that here, you know what I mean? Now, after people were made aware of this, a change.org petition was launched reporting perceived child abuse and neglect towards Ruby. Now, the Frank parents posted in defense of the discipline, saying the incidents had been taken out of context.
2020 was probably the hardest year of our marriage. It was the hardest year of my life. I was a victim.
On August 30th, 2023, Frank and Hildebrandt were arrested in Ivins, Utah, and 2 days later, both were charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse, which is a felony. Now, according to a statement from the Santa Clara Ivins Public Safety Department, the arrests were triggered after Frank's 12-year-old son, who appeared emancipated and had open wounds and duct tape around his extremities, he had jumped through their window and ran to a neighbor's house begging for food and water. Like, that is how they had been starving this kid, you know what I mean? Not letting him drink, not letting him eat. He was basically tied down to a chair, duct taped to a chair. Like bro, like this is the dark shit, you feel me? I don't give a fuck if she told him that like, oh, your kids aren't gonna like get anything for Christmas. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really care about that. Or like beheading a stuffed animal. But like, this is like Bro, what the fuck? Now, after this, emergency services found Frank's 10-year-old daughter in the house, also malnourished. Both children were taken to a hospital where the boy was actually treated for severe malnourishment and deep lacerations from being tied up with a rope. Not only duct tape, but also a rope. Search of the house found evidence consistent with the markings on the 12-year-old, and the Utah Division of Child and Family Services took the boy and girl and 2 more of Frank's children into CPS. Now, police later reported that according to the boy, cayenne pepper and honey had been used to dress his wounds. So they were just pouring honey and cayenne pepper in there.
Yeah, they put cayenne pepper mixed with honey, he said, on the wounds, and then covered that with the plastic saran wrap and then the duct tape.
Frank and Hildebrandt were held without bail. Hildebrandt surrendered her license as a counselor pending resolution of the court case and a disciplinary investigation. And after her arrest, YouTube suspended Frank from the platform, also suspending 2 channels that were also linked to her. And on December 8th, 2023, they basically pled guilty.
Ms. Frankie, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
She later actually pled not guilty to 2 other counts, but come on. The factual basis mentioned an incident of Frank forcing her son to work outdoors over several weeks with inadequate protection resulting in severe sunburns, claims that the children were basically possessed and that's why she had them out there. Frank agreed to serve a prison sentence and to serve her respective sentences consecutively rather than concurrently. And Frank was expected to testify against Hildebrandt in Hildebrandt's upcoming trial, but Hildebrandt separately pleaded guilty to 4 counts of felony aggravated child abuse on December 27th, with 2 charges dropped as part of another plea deal. Basically, they're both trying to fuck each other over. Hildebrandt did it first. On February 20, 2024, Frank received 4 consecutive sentences of between 1 and 15 years, meaning she must serve a minimum of 4 years each, although the maximum could be basically 60 years in total. And the Utah Code dictates that the time served by a defendant upon whom consecutive sentences are imposed must not exceed 30 years. Basically, she can't get more than 30 years unless she was going for the death penalty or life in prison. And under Utah's intermediate sentencing scheme, her exact term will be determined by the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole. Basically, we don't really know. It's at least 4 years, which is actual fucking garbage for abusing your kids like this. Maximum would be 30 years since she can't get the full 60. Realistically, she probably deserves, both of them probably deserve the 30 years at the very least. I mean, fuck it. 4 years, bro. These kids are not even gonna be 18 at that point. You feel me? Maybe the one 14-year-old, the one 12-year-old will. But even then, like, bro, I don't know. Fuck the Franks, bro, besides the kids, obviously. Fuck Ruby Frank and fuck the whatever Hildebrandt. Both big scumbags. We're actually about to get into an even bigger scumbag real quick, though. Stanislav Breshkinat. He's better known online as Stas Refly. He's a former Russian YouTuber, streamer, and gamer who is known for his Let's Plays and his trash streaming, where he and his friends would put themselves through or commit dangerous actions. Stas became infamous for a popular Russian internet genre called trash streaming, where someone commits dangerous and illegal acts if they receive donations telling them to do so. Basically, these are just like retards that are gonna do whatever as long as you donate to them, and they'll do whatever you say. Like, no better way to put it. Sorry, like, they're just retarded at that point. You know what I mean? In many of his live streams, he would continually abuse his girlfriend, Valentina, and his other friends. Basically, he was just super abusive. One example was when Stas is seen lying on top of a woman and they began yelling at each other. Stas would begin to beat her as she's heard crying, to which a friend intervenes and pulls him away before she ends up coming back and hitting him in return. Yeah, so basically this guy is just super abusive all around. His girlfriend, his friends, like, doesn't matter who, everybody can get it from this guy. In fact, the most infamous case of abuse was with his former friend Valentin Genichev, who was reportedly homeless and suffered from alcoholism as well as other mental illnesses, though Stas offered him to stay at his house. However, Stas over time severely pranked and would abuse Valentin at the request of chat members, such as splashing water in his face, tricking him into drinking pee, and slapping and just generally beating him up. Now, however, when fans began to call out Stas for the abuse, Valentin would say that he would voluntarily be a participant of it and police did not need to be involved. So I don't know what was good with that. Maybe he just didn't want to, like, fuck over his friend. However, like, bro, if your boy is like beating your ass constantly and you're not even fighting back or anything, it's not like play fighting, like he's dead ass like whooping your ass all the time, that's not your boy, cause like you're just a punching bag, you feel me? Like this dude is just dead ass beating on you for no reason. Like that's crazy to me. Now eventually after 3 years, Valentin left. There have been other cases of Stas abusing and pranking the elderly and mentally disabled people as well. On December 2nd, 2020, Stas was live streaming alongside his girlfriend Valentina and his friend Marina. At the beginning of the live stream, they're seen drinking heavily while listening to music. So chill at first. Supposedly a chat member donated $1,000 and wanted Stas to beat up Valentina and lock her outside. Stas and Marina attempted to bring Valentina outside, though Valentina would begin to argue with Stas while threatening him with a knife. Obviously, like, bro, $1,000 to beat up your girlfriend and go leave her outside is crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, this guy must desperately have needed bread at that point. Like, I don't know. If you're willing to do shit like this, like, something is not right in your head. Like, you are fucked up in the head mentally. You feel me? Now, while unseen during the stream, he reportedly slammed her to the ground, to which he stripped her down to her underwear, poured cold water on her, before eventually forcing her outside into the cold. Now, the temperature that night was from -3 to -8 Celsius, basically around 17 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit, way below freezing. And Stas would continue to stream while Valentino is heard banging on the door. Eventually, he would check up on her, only to find her body laying on the balcony. He is then seen dragging her in and attempting to wake her up. Stas would say that that she looked pale and she wasn't breathing, would then begin to give her CPR and would try slapping her in the face to wake her up. He would carry her to the couch and then tearfully call an ambulance. And I feel like we all know where this is going. He would continue to live stream 45 minutes later as he would drink alcohol and play music until paramedics arrived and eventually pronounced Valentina as dead. They originally ruled her death as hypothermia, but they later changed it to craniocerebral trauma after an autopsy, which is basically a head injury. And basically, Reflay was later arrested and his YouTube would be terminated on December 3rd, 2020, or his Twitch. And while Stas originally said that he'd shown sympathy towards her death and saying that he didn't mean to kill her, he would then claim that she had an intestinal problem and would cause the apartment to stink, and that she was a prostitute and was on drugs, and saying she would have died regardless. Valentina was also allegedly pregnant at the time of her death, though the rumors of that were later proven false. Thank God for that. In April of 2021, Stas was charged with involuntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 6 years of maximum security prison. The news was heavily covered and would heavily call out Stas's actions, leading to the government to investigate trash streaming genre in whole, basically after this incident, which is good. Bro, fuck Stas. Like, yo, what a actual piece of garbage. Cause like there's like no amount of words I can even describe that. It describes how bad this dude is. Like, bro, you dead ass killed her for like nothing, bro. Like for a band. I don't know, bro. That shit is just crazy. Like, some people really be tapped in the head. You feel me? You gotta know who you around at the end of the day, bro. Because people like that, you gotta stay far away from them, bro. They would kill you for $500 on a live stream, bro. Like, 100%. These people are crazy, bro. Anyways, moving on to the last one. This one at least is a little bit lighter. These first two were, like, pretty fucked up. Omi and the Hellcat. Bill Omar Castillo, known professionally as Omi and the Hellcat, is an American YouTuber who was sentenced to 5.5 years of prison and fined $30 million on charges of conspiracy, copyright infringement, fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion over a cable television piracy scheme. Now, Omi started a business in 2016 with partners Jesse Gonzalez from California and Michael Barone from New York, which offered subscribers content from Comcast, Verizon Fios, DirecTV, and HBO as low as $15 a month.
I was laying on my bed and I thought, fire stick. It was like God was like, nigga, fire stick, nigga, wake up. Wake up, nigga, fire stick. Popped right to my head.
Now, I don't know if any of you guys are hip to these things, but like, I know a lot of people that be having the fire sticks. It's basically, imagine a cracked little Amazon Fire Stick that gives you all the cable for free. You feel me? You would have somebody come in and set it up and they do it for you. You can picture that as basically the same scheme that they were pulling. You know what I mean? Like, they were basically ripping off the internet companies, ripping off all the Netflix. You get all the movies, you get all the streaming services. You just plug it in your TV, you pay them instead. I mean, honestly, bro, I feel them. That's a finesse. I would, like, bro, like, I would pay for that. $15 a month, you getting like every channel, bro, every movie. I still know people who still have this shit to this day, bro. Like, it is clutch. You feel me? So honestly, I don't know. I don't blame Omi, and honestly, I feel like 5.5 years for that is crazy, but he made bread. Now, according to federal authorities, they bought encoders from China which removed copyright protections from legitimate cable subscriptions, then used these to stream content online. Basically what I was trying to explain to you before.
Buying cheap Chinese boxes through Amazon. That's why, you know, when once I left Cody, I seen a lot of like box sellers that were in Cody getting DMCA takedowns, you know, DirecTV suing them. I'm like, why are they getting sued? Amazon sold the fucking boxes to them. You know, it's sad to say, but it's true.
Before being shut down in 2019, the service had 100,000 members and generated about $34 million in annual revenue. He created a YouTube channel named Omi and a Hellcat. The channel features videos showing off his jewelry, his home in Swedesboro, New Jersey, which was formerly owned by Jimmy Rollins, who was a ball player, and his collection of 57 cars, where I feel like he got most of his notoriety from. I mean, he's not like that Ty Lopez guy where it was like, oh, hey, here in my garage with my Lamborghini. Nah, this dude had his entire street flooded with his cars, bro. So many cars. Like, obviously you're pissing off the neighbors. Obviously people are looking at you weird. Like rich people don't even own these many cars, or at least if they do, they put them in garages and shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is like your cars are on your neighbor's yard, are taking up the entire street. All the street parking is your cars. Like, I don't know. He was moving way too hot at the end of the day. Like, really, he was forcing it. And I feel like he probably knows that too. Now, his collection of cars included 3 Dodge Hellcats and 4 Lamborghinis, including a Power Ranger themed one, which was kind of fire. As of December 2023, the channel had almost 1 million followers and about 65 million views. And he was popping at the time. Now, Omi's home was raided by the FBI on the morning of November 27th back in 2019. They seized his cars, jewelry, computers, SD cards, TVs, and the money in his bank account. He was then indicted by the FBI on September 21st, 2021 on 62 counts, including 19 of public performance of protective work and 6 counts of wire fraud. He was facing 514 years in the feds, but he maintained his innocence. He said, "I don't think I ever did anything wrong. Obviously, I was running businesses wide open in the public. Now we're going to have our day in court. Found a loophole, I ran through, and I did great. There are other colleagues in the same business I was in, and they never got in trouble with the FBI." So I honestly, I believe him, bro. I really do believe him. I feel like he probably knew, like, oh, I'm definitely like coming up and kind of scheming, but I don't know. Like, I'm on the same page as him, bro. I know plenty of people who've done this. I know people who still get their internet this way, still get their channels this way to this very day. So I don't know. I really can't fault him too much for this. Now, ultimately, he pled guilty in February of 2022 and was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison and fined $30 million. They dropped a couple of charges, and yeah, he got charged for a couple of things, including tax evasion, money laundering. His cars were auctioned off by the U.S. Marshals, and his jewelry was auctioned off online, and that all ended back in October 2 years ago. They've been trying to sell off this shit slowly. But yeah, man, honestly, compared to the rest of the people on this video, like, bro, Omi, 5.5 years, bro, like, he could be doing more time than the bitch that was abusing her kids. Like, if you really think about it, the minimum she could serve is 4 years, bro, and she could be out. He's got to do, now granted, he was facing 514 years, but that's because he was playing with other people's money. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, they were facing only 60 years for beating their kids, bro, duct taping them and tying them to chairs and basically starving them to death. I don't know. Really think about that, bro. This dude stole money from the cable companies and shit. And he was about to get 514 years in prison, in the feds, no less, bro. Like 97% conviction rate. He was about to be fucked. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, free him. He'll be out soon. The other people on his list, I hope you fucking stay in there, especially Styles. Like, no cap, bro. Like, he's somebody that deserves his ass whooped, and I hope he's getting beat up in jail. No cap. Anyways, if you guys like this video, let me know down below. There's plenty more YouTubers who make awful decisions and ended up in jail. End of the day, stay safe, stay dangerous.